we have a special treat for you. Rosalind Henderson is owner of Leadership Keys Unlimited. She is a leadership and sales coach for 13 years. She's worked with such organizations as Chick-fil-A, UPS, and Xavier University. Now, Rosalind brings her phenomenal training and experience to business owners who are sales resistant or who desire to upgrade their skills and mindset to regularly hit their income goals. When Rosalind isn't working, you will find her on the floor with her grandson playing with Lego. Rosalind, welcome to Building Wealth Together.
Oh, JJ, it is my honor to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here. When I heard about what you want to share with the audience today, the discussion that we're going to have, I knew that this was going to be a phenomenal session to help up-level our entrepreneurs. Because one of the biggest problems we all struggle with is getting paid for our talent. Now, before you jump into some of your fine points that you want to share with us today, I've got a question about your bio. You have in here business owners who are sales resistant. And that jumped out at me because I know a lot of us want more sales, but deep down inside, I kind of feel like many of us are blocking our own selves. But can you tell me what you mean by sales resistant and how we know that that might be us?
Absolutely. Self-resistance ends up being self-sabotage, whether we're doing it intentionally or unintentionally. It ends up being the same thing, is that our business ends up financially struggling. It might be struggling because maybe we personalize no's as we're doing sales conversations. Maybe it struggles because we have old tapes and have an old mindset about what sales looks like. And the experiences that we've had in the past often comes in to bear when we're trying to interact with our own prospects. I don't know about you, JJ, but surely I started off disliking sales because there were salespeople that I encountered who were hard driving. They were pushy. They really were about to sell more than they were about serving me. And I really didn't want to have anything to do with that. And so that was a mindset that I needed to really work on. There's all kind of things. Charging what your services are worth is an issue for some of my clients because they have worth issues. You know, closing a sale might be difficult for some of people. So those are the symptoms of a deeper issue where mindset is blocking your ability to make wealth. It is about learning sales skills. Absolutely. And we have a 9-prong step sales system that we introduce our prospects and customers too, but it's equally mindset, because if you have the skills, but if you lack execution, then you're going to get uneven financial results. If I just show up every so often to do sales, then it's going to affect your pocketbook.
Absolutely. And I'm a person who's very much aversive to being sold to. I want my problems answered, but I don't want you to sell to me. And I say this as somebody who I've been in Home Depot in the landscaping area and had 3 different people come try to sell me cabinets. And with the third one, I was super frustrated. I was like, if I wanted cabinets for my kitchen, don't you think I'd be over in the kitchen section? What do I look like? Some kind of sucker to you? And he was like, well, yeah, actually, you kind of do. I was so hurt.
Wow.
They had pegged me as an easy mark. And the interesting thing that I have found is that because of that experience, it made me resistant to ever doing anything that would appear as if I was like those guys. And in so feeling, I actually cut myself off of a lot of business because sometimes in business, we've got to be more aggressive. I learned that the hard way at a trade show where I was marketing my 40 Dates in 4 Months book. And I wish I would have had your book back then. your 21 things that women need to do to in business, because if I had had your book, it wouldn't have taken me 2 hours to finally start yelling at people. 40 dates in 4 months, the true story of how I met my husband. Everybody walked past my banner. They saw it, but nobody was stopping at my booth, and I had
Yes.
spent my money to be there. And then as I called out to people, I realized, hey, I'm not being aggressive. They're enjoying talking to me about my book. They just needed to know it was here.
Yes. Yes. I love that point that you're making, because oftentimes we have services that we poured our heart into in our book or curriculum. We do webinars, we speak on the stage, there's all kind of different things that we do, and yet we're not assertive enough. We think people are going to come to us and just wrestle a sale off of us, and all we have to do is stand there, when we need to give the invitation. Sales to me is an invitation for my transformation. It's an invitation to see if there's a fit between what your needs are and what I have to offer. Look, I'm honest. If I feel like I am unable to help you get the transformation and to solve the problem that you need solved, then I'll tell the truth, because it can be about service. It could be about honesty. It is about serving the client or the soon to be client. That's the perspective we need to come from in sales. If there is a good fit, then I'm going to show how it is a good fit. I'm going to connect the dots for the prospect, leading them to a sale, but it's hardly about strong arming at all. Absolutely not.
And I've also been in several businesses where I thought I was going to go into business for myself, and I wasn't going to have to sell, and I wasn't going to have to be beholden to anybody. And what do you find out when you become an entrepreneur? One, you find out if you're not working, you're not getting paid, right? And then two, you find out that everybody is selling to somebody, and you're basically selling you. So how do we
Yes,
get over that mentally? How do we make that jump and understand that it's not icky and it's not slimy to actually market ourselves to the audience? I like how you said, I wrote this down. It's selling to our clients is an invitation for their transformation.
absolutely. I think that thought alone, using that as an affirmation, can really shift your perspective. It really could. To know that that's what I am extending to you, an invite. I think that that's one thing that is very vital, that we work on our mindsets. Oftentimes we kind of accept the thoughts that just race through our head. We just allow them to hang around too long. And it comes to us through self-talk. And that self-talk can be highly critical, or we have these emotional states. Sometimes I feel shameful. Sometimes I feel worthless and insecure and fearful. So it starts with beginning to say, this is where I am. This is what I'm doing. I'm struggling, embracing the results of that. We have to understand, JJ, the cost of embracing negative mindsets, the cost of believing the ways in which we fake ourselves out. We have to locate and pin down our excuses that sound all so lovely and so plausible, but keep us from regularly setting up sales presentations and doing them. So first of all, it is about locating ourselves and where we are. And there is so much out there, JJ, in regards to how to transform your mindset. I just mentioned affirmations. In my program, we do affirmations on steroids. And what I mean is that we position affirmations in a way that it really is hitting the subconscious mind. So there's transformation. So you're kind of getting rid of some of that old toxic garbage. For instance, we do things like cognitive therapy exercises that we use. Very easy to use. You can use it conveniently, where you're challenging some of the thoughts that you just accept as normal, as part of yourself. There are a lot of techniques out there. Journaling is a very good way to see what is inside of his head, make it concrete, and begin to work with those thoughts, with the idea of changing them and watching the emotional charge drain enough so that we can act in our own best interest, despite the fact we still may hear those voices. But when we're working on ourselves and we do it consistently, it doesn't have the same charge, power, weight. It's there you go again, negative self-talk. Okay, anyway, I have how many calls to run today? You're not affected. You are acting in your own best interest, and within the idea of creating a healthy business. It's about creating a healthy business, and that includes sales, marketing, and sales.
Yes, well, healthy. And I like how you emphasize healthy because I know that for me and many of my clients, when I got started, I thought I was doing great because I was making all this money, and I didn't really have a healthy business. I'm thinking specifically. Okay, so I've had 17 different businesses before I found one that I stuck with, right? But when I was selling Mary Kay and I was making $1,000 a month, and that was really good for somebody who's $800,000 in debt. Like I needed that $1,000 a month, and I was in one church where they didn't have any independent consultants for Mary Kay, so I would offer sales. I would give you a 30% off thing. I had to pay 50%. So I made that 20% that spread. And you have a large enough group, that 20% spread translated to about $1,000 a month. My sponsor got her card, everything, right? Well, I didn't have a healthy business. So when I picked up and moved, the military moved us to another state, my entire business dried up because now I was in an area where all of our churches had at least 2 or 3 Mary Kay consultants. And instead of building a business, I was just relying on tactics and tricks. And so when you talk about sales and marketing, that really speaks to my heart because it's the lifeblood of our business to continue to bring new people in contact with the value that we offer.
Absolutely. So lead generation is very key, that we not use just one lead generation system, but we have a number of lead generation systems in place so that we always have someone going through the pipeline, so that JJ, when you don't uproot, you uprooted and went to live somewhere else. Perhaps if there were other ways to generate leads, you wouldn't have been totally shriveled up.
Right, right. Well, if I had paid attention to what others were teaching.
It's okay, because
So basically what I'm learning
learning
right now is I've got a hard head.
we're all learning and growing. So that is essential, that we keep those leads coming in various different ways. So that's one way to keep your business healthy, is to get leads, is to nurture those leads in various ways, shape, and form. I have a blog that I use. I stay in contact through email marketing with my leads. I'm holding free events so people can taste my wares, so to speak. And I know you do the same kind of thing. And then I sell from my webinars. I sell from the stage. That's what I do. And it's rinse and repeat, but it depends on what kind of business you have, the way you're going to approach it. So it takes a while to get all of those little pieces into place so that you have a well-oiled machine. And when you do have it in place, to me, marketing and sales really is rinse and repeat. It's like going to me, the ATM machine, and saying, I want this amount, and just being able to withdraw whatever amount of money you wish. So it takes a while to do that, but that's the goal. And that's the point I want to make, JJ, about financial wealth and about sales, and always tweaking ourselves, getting better at sales, understanding new tactics, techniques, approaches. All of that is a lifelong endeavor that really builds financial wealth. And I think business owners, some, need to take that a lot more seriously than they do, especially if they're trying to open doors, financial doors for themselves and the little ones and the kids and the family that is they're dependent on you to uh, make those sales, and so that they can live the life that you desire and you desire for your family.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's something that for me has been very important. And I know that there's a long, like I'm nowhere near the level of John Maxwell or Les Brown, but I do all right. And I was really surprised to see that it didn't take me as long as I was afraid of, and it didn't take as much effort as I was afraid of. I want to say that the right way, because entrepreneurship is work, but it's fun work. But it didn't require, how do I want to say this? It didn't require me to go into hundreds of $1,000s of debt. It didn't require me to
Mm.
stop playing with my kids. It didn't require me to stop picking my boys up from school and dropping them off at school. It didn't require me to start missing my son's football games. Now, I may have been able to scale faster if I did those things, but instead I was able to scale in still a short, fairly short time amount, by being very clear on the concepts that you're teaching, and then making sure that my confidence levels are up there. Because I find that confidence for me, it does two things. One, it either makes me feel a lack of confidence. I mean, makes me either feel like I can't charge, like I don't have something of value. And I'd like you to speak to that. But the other thing that a lack of confidence does for me is a lack of confidence, a lack of confidence when I allow it to creep into my life actually prevents me from seeing myself as offering a service and value to the client, and it closes me off from opportunities where I may have to pay to get access to more leads and more clients. And so, like, this conference, Building Wealth Together, is a free conference for the attendees, but all of us as speakers at varying levels, we all chipped in to make this happen because we understood the process of developing leads, and we understood how powerful that is. But yet sometimes that fear is like, well, I'm not going to take a chance on me. So can you help us
Wow.
walk through how to overcome these lacks of confidence that overtake us? What is one thing somebody can do starting today that they can put into place that will help transform their confidence, even if it's a small step forward in the rest of the week and then even beyond in their business?
Wow. There's so much said that I have to think about how I want to address that. But I believe confidence is the very bedrock of business. And of course, we're building levels and higher levels and higher levels of confidence. That is so critical. I find so many business owners and so many people blind to all the talents and to all the giftings that God has given them. There's a lot of reasons why we're
No, no, no.
blind.
Oh, say that again. Say that again. That is so true.
Yes, that is amazing, mind blowing how we are blind to all the giftings and to all the talents that are inherent in us, that God has put in us. And there are a lot of reasons for that, JJ. Some of us have been molested. Some of us have been abused by parents or others. Some of us have gone through, you just name the trauma. They have gone through things that may have your hair and my hair stand on end. And so there's a lot of people who can look at another person and go, oh, this person is dripping with talent and skills and gifts. Why don't they use it? Because they don't see that. And because some of those old messages are really hardwired into some business owners, into some people. I don't deserve this, or uh, there's no way I'll ever be as good as this person over here. It results in all kind of skewed ways of thinking and seeing the world. And I think that is something that is going to inhibit financial wealth building more than anything else is that disbelief in taking a chance on me, the disbelief that I have in my capacities and my abilities. That is what's going to hinder me more than anything. Because in the final analysis, JJ, I got to believe in me. I got to take a chance on me.
That's
I
right.
have to believe that what has been put in me, inherent in me by God, is going to provide someone else's transformation. It could be a mini transformation. It could be a gigantic transformation, but that's why we're all here. We're all here to help each other along this path, specifically so. And to me, business in a way has a ministry element to it, to me, in the sense that I'm using my purpose and my mission to help transform others. So for those who lack confidence, again, I'm always saying this: realize you lack it. Don't fight it. Some people will try to drink over it. They'll try to eat over the fact they don't have confidence. They binge watch TV. They're sexaholics. They might be, stay there in the place of momentary discomfort, this momentary discomfort, and start thinking about what can I do to start building my confidence. There's a number of things that you can do. One simple answer, of course, is therapy. Some of us, and I'm talking about us brown folks in particular, resist therapy. But I want to tell you, JJ, that there have been arenas and times in my life where I had to clutch on to therapy and to milk whatever I could get from it, because I was dealing with depression and anxiety, and it showed up in business.
It absolutely does.
Yes, it shows up in your attitude, it shows up in your behavior, it shows up, your clients pick it up, your prospects pick it up. You're not as progressive as you want to be when you're stuck in that arena. So that's the first thing that I will say, because that helped in time. It helped me break through layers and higher levels of confidence, to build confidence. The second thing is there's so much that we can do in between, if you're seeing a therapist, in between seeing the therapist, to expedite our emotional mental health. Because I'm going to say this, and it might sound a little radical, JJ, but often a lack of confidence sometimes points to mental health issues sometimes. So,
Okay.
but there's a lot that we can do about that. For instance, I'm part of a mastermind group. I cannot tell you the importance of community, the right kind of community with the right kind of people, which allows me to grow. There are people in that mastermind group, for instance, who have told me things I didn't know about myself, or I was not owning about myself. They were helping me see myself more correctly, soberly, all my warts, I suppose, but also the great strengths that, we own, to be able to see it and to be responsible for it and to start using it out there in your business and life means that your, guess what? Self-confidence grows and grows. So community is a way to build confidence. Another way to build confidence, again, is that with my clients, I do hand out a number of exercises and strategies that they can use conveniently to start challenging some of their thought processes related to a lack of confidence.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So that you can see what's true. It's so interesting once we begin to take some of our thoughts and put them onto paper, it becomes concrete, and you can begin to manipulate your thoughts, expose the light of truth on some of our stinking thinking. And then once you do that, you can begin to see what the truth is. What the truth is. And once you begin to see what the truth is, it oftentimes has that great side effect of dissolving negative thinking patterns and emotions that you have, because the truth does indeed set you free.
Absolutely,
So those are some
absolutely.
of the ideas that I have in regards to that.
I love that because that confidence, it's such an impact to everything. And like you said, your clients can feel it, your prospects, it's like your confidence meets them before you meet them. And
Yes.
I didn't make any sales when I wasn't confident, that's for sure. And I tell you, I've come to learn that it doesn't matter how famous somebody is or how wealthy somebody is. I always have something to offer them. And when I meet somebody else, it doesn't matter how high up they are in society's eyes or how low down they are in society's eyes. I have discovered that I can pretty much learn something from everybody. And with that level of humility, it actually increases my confidence because I don't have to stress out now about whether or not I can add value. I know I can add value. It's a matter of whether this is the right time in your life or whether I'm the right person to speak into your life or whether there's someone else. And for me, like having that confidence that through some of the methods that you outlined and I wanted to touch on them again because I think a lot of people discount the value of these exercises. I know some of the exercises that I went through, my mentors would tell me, I know you haven't done them, but I read them and I thought them and I thought through it, but I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I didn't write out what I was supposed to write out. I didn't think it was a big deal that I didn't have that hand, that physical motor versus mind connection, all of that together. I was like, I thought about it, I skimmed it, I got it, I got it, I got it. And one of my mentors was like, you don't got it, because if you did get it, you'd be getting it. You'd be getting that bag. And so, but the other thing that I wanted to loop back to is you talked about therapy. And I tell you, boy, 6 years ago, I would have really kind of been like, you know what, accomplished people, spiritual people, we don't need therapy. But I learned for myself that, you'll go, if you break a bone, you'll go to the doctor. And there are things that
Yes.
happen that break our brains. There's traumas that happen that break our brains. And a lot of those traumas don't even come out. This is why I host that Healing My Sisters virtual summit every year. A lot of traumas don't come out until we are financially and emotionally mature enough to handle them. And so now we're in our 40s, our 50s, maybe even our 60s, and this stuff starts bubbling up, and we're like, "Wow!" It's because your body, your systems in your body are saying, "Hey, I can handle this." But it comes up, and then we freeze, and we don't execute at the meeting. And so I really love the different things that you brought out. And again, like therapy, like if I hadn't gone to therapy, I wouldn't be able to drive today because of all the car I had a series of car accidents, one right after. I had like four rear ends in a 3 year period, or
Wow.
4 year period. I had two in 1 year, one before that, and then one after that. And it was just over and over, and they weren't my fault. Like it'd be different if I could say it's my fault, but they weren't my fault. And so then when things happen to you and it's not your fault, you feel like you have no control. All right. And so you've talked through a lot of ways to handle that, but I want to talk before we close out. I want to talk about what we do when it is our fault. I get a lot of entrepreneurs come to me and they say, my husband or my wife, they don't support me in my dream. They just think I should get my head out of the clouds, and they think I should just go get a real job. And not all the time, but a lot of time, I peel back the onion and I discover that this person is just like I was. Business after failed business after failed business after failed business after failed business. Like I said, I had 17 different businesses till I finally found one that stuck. And my track record, I have great ideas, big ideas, short on details. My track record would imply that perhaps my spouse shouldn't trust the 18th idea. And so when we have either messed up or we've had a pattern of messing up, that can really hinder us from moving forward. What would you say to a client that came to you and was like, I've messed up this and I've messed up this and I've messed up that, and I feel like there's still hope for me, but most of the time I just feel like I'm hopeless and I'm never going to make it? What would you say to somebody in that situation?
Wow, great question. We all
Did you
mess
see I'm
up.
having fun with this?
You are, you really are. You're,
Because it's like you're
I
telling
want
all
you
the
on the
stuff
other
I needed
side.
10 years ago. I'm like, I needed her 10 years ago.
I want you on the other side of this interview. I just wanted to interview you. Boy, there is not one of us who has not floundered big time in this whole entrepreneurial space. A lot of us are coming from 9 to 5 jobs, from 9 to 5, trying to start our first business, not having an inkling what to do, first steps. And this is why I feel that an entrepreneur, above all else, they need to be teachable and coachable. I think someone who is on their 17th business, if I were your husband, JJ, yeah, I had to have some questions about you going back to work, because with these 17 businesses that haven't made any money or made very little money, and we have light bills to pay, I'm going to have a serious conversation about, why am I going to believe you this time? This is the 17th time, JJ. Why am I going to believe you this time? We've been struggling for 2, 3, 4, 5 years with all your different ideas that just haven't gone anywhere.
That's right. I've
Especially
been
if
in
you have,
some form of business for 23 years. And this one that's taking off, it was a commitment that I made to my family. I am not spending any family money on this business.
okay,
And that was what I had to do to in
okay,
order to get my spouse's trust. But that meant it took longer to grow.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Because there needs to be that conversation needed to happen for the sake of your marriage.
Yeah.
You know, and those are the kind of hard conversations I think we need to have with those significant others who are trying to run with us. And that's the kind of conversation we need to have with ourselves. If I don't know, this is why I have run, not walked, JJ. This is why I have run the coaches. Rosalind will go down into her grave with holding a coach's hand, because every time I want to go to the next level, there's mystery. It's unknown. I want to save time, tears, and effort. So therefore, you find the people who have done it. And sometimes you might get someone who's nominal charge or next to free, but sometimes you have to pay a little bit or negotiate or do something so that you can be in that coach's space, sitting at their knee, so that you're learning and you get there so much faster when you do that. I don't know, JJ, if along those 17 businesses you had mentors and or coaches, but that's
Well,
number one.
I did something probably a lot of your clients have done too. I was unique. Nobody understood my situation. You see, because I was in the Air Force and I had a baby and I had a ministry, and you couldn't tell me anything because you hadn't lived that walk. And so you must not really know. The Spirit is not speaking to you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
17.
denial.
Well, 16, I shouldn't say 17 failed businesses, 16 failed businesses. And then this one. Now,
Oh,
some of them weren't
okay.
failed. I did sell the web hosting company and the Airport Walkers of America. That wasn't my fault. That was 9/11, baby. That's what shut that one down. That was 9/11. But I mean, hey, it was a great
JJ.
concept. Did I ever tell you about that?
No, no, you never have.
So, and when me and my ex-husband, when we started our missionary journey, we got out of debt. We got out of debt in 98, I think. And we started traveling with our international missions director of our international church, and then also some of the bishops, because he was a musician and I was really good with kids. So I would hold the kids while the revivalist was doing webinars, and he would play for them. And it was a great combination. And we would come out of our own pockets. So of course everybody wanted to have us come because they didn't have to pay for us, right? They didn't have to raise funds for us. And so we were in the airport like 20 to 27 weekends a year in those early years. We didn't have
Wow.
kids yet. And so I created something called Airport Walkers of America, because if you planned your layovers right, you could get a good walk in. And they used to have luggage lockers in the airport. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, they used to have. See, people are like, "What is she talking about?" Hey, look, me and Rosalind, we older
We're
than we
around the
look.
same age.
We aged well. We aged well, but we remember when they used to have luggage lockers in the airport. You could lock your carry-on in the luggage locker, and you could go walking and eat and relax. And so what I did was, back before the internet was big, the internet had just come out, right? We're talking 98, 97 here. And I captured the layouts, the handouts of the airports, their restaurants, the schematics, and I scanned it all in. Like, this is way back when, right? I scanned it all in, uploaded it to an HTML page, and people could log in. They would pay to log in and get access to those packages. So if they were
Ah,
planning their trip, they could plan a 2-hour layover here, get a good workout in, get a healthier meal, or they could avoid this airport because there were no services. Airport Walkers of America. It was a fantastic business until 9/11 came along. And the crazy thing is I was telling some
yeah.
guy about this at FinCon 2 years ago. He's like, I'm building an app that does that. And then I thought, man, there's still a use for that information. I missed the
Wow.
boat on that, man. I could have been multimillionaire several times over. But this is your interview, not mine. But I thought you would enjoy that story. Some of the businesses, they failed. It's not because of us. Many of them were, admittedly, because I wouldn't accept help. And I like what you said about being coachable and
Yes.
being willing to be mentored and to be coached.
And the second thing is we have to decide at some point, or we're going to go all in. We have to decide if we're going to go all in. I don't care if it's Mary Kay. I don't care what the business is. So it could be a service business that you've created. I think a lot of us are a little hesitant in some areas of our business when we need to be pushing and we need to show up each and every day. We need to open our business, especially if we're doing it via electronics, the computer, online. We need to show up as if we have a brick and mortar business. If it's 9 to 5, you should be online 9 to 5, generating leads, having conversations on Facebook, turning those conversations into possible sales conversations. So the idea of commitment, which will lead to grit and persistence, is something that a lot of us need help in developing, because we don't give certain businesses time. What I have found is that I always want to go faster than the timeline. So I'm thinking, hey, why isn't this business up and going? I should be making 6 figures now. I've been 8 months into this business. And I have found that it takes much longer than we want oftentimes. And it requires much more of us that we're unaccustomed to giving. And that's another piece that I would share with you, is that our commitment levels to make this work no matter what, to position my product no matter how long it takes, so that prospect can hear how this can benefit them. Well, that is a subject in and of itself. But those are the kinds of things that is what's going to make a business eventually succeed. Is those kind of things that sometimes we are a little wary about doing. And we run off to another business after 8 months.
Yeah, because this one clearly wasn't good enough.
No, it wasn't good enough.
It doesn't
There's
matter
something
that,
wrong with
20
there's
other
something wrong
people
with
made
it.
millions. Go ahead.
There's something wrong with it. There's something wrong with the business, or, and just not to say, JJ, that there hasn't been mismatches. I
Oh,
have
sure.
finally found there's the sweet spot of me teaching business owners sales skills is a very sweet spot for me. And yes, it took me a while to find that sweet spot. I was around the sweet spot, but it took me a little while to find, oh, this is it. This is what floats my boat. So it's
Mhm.
not to say that you don't go through a process of finding that sweet spot, but I'm of the belief that wherever you are in business, wherever you are, you're going to be making, uh, you're going to be tweaking your business for sure. But wherever you are, I think you should be giving 110% to where you are in your business at a given time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I don't want anybody to be scared and think like, "Oh, I can't possibly do it. You know, I'm a single mom with 3 kids and I'm working 3 jobs and there's no way I can build a business and have financial independence." Well, I remember being a single military mom with 800 something thousand dollars of debt. And I was
Mm,
in a military position in a high enough rank that I couldn't just, I couldn't just go out and proselytize to everybody at work. So I remember those days where I really felt like my hands were hamstrung. But one thing that I'm hearing in what Rosalind is saying is that if you will do what you can do, the rest will work itself out.
yes.
And I have a big problem with, especially when I start to get stressed and anxious and I'm not being in touch with my feelings and don't realize what's happening. I have a big problem with getting sucked into cell phone games. And I'll sit there and play games, waiting for my son to fall asleep, and he'll be asleep for 2 hours, and I'll still be in his room. And that's a signal to me that, hey, you're out of sync. You need to do something because you've got a business to run. And when these kids are asleep, and when that husband is asleep, and when they're at school, that's time to make the business happen, or it's time for self-care. And I really appreciate what you're saying because you're giving us tools to be able to identify that in ourselves and be able to say, hey, wait a second, I need to realign myself and get together with what I'm called to do. Rosalind, this has been fantastic. I want to give you some space now to kind of let the audience know how they can get a hold of you. If they want to dig deeper into this concept, where they would go to find more information. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about how they can walk deeper in this with you.
Well, I do feel that this is such an essential component to business. And let me ask you, JJ, is it fine for me to offer a gift
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
to those who are listening today? Because one thing I love to do, JJ, I love to write, love to research. I love to find those productivity hacks that is going to allow us to streamline all of our focus and our efforts so that we can get to a goal faster. And so, what I would like to share with the audience is an ebook that I wrote. So, it's entitled Increase Reaching Your Goals Up to 300% Faster. I researched this little ebook for a lot of months, poured over a lot of information. It took me about 4 months to write this little ebook, but I call it my little gem because it is packed with, I think, is powerful information that allows you to organize your thoughts, your behaviors, to create structures that are going to help you hit your goals faster and faster. For every goal that you have, once you have these behaviors and mindsets down, it's going to help you save some months and who knows, at least months in regards to seeing the realization of whatever your dreams are. So that's the first gift that I want to give. And the second one that I created, and I was very, very proud of this because it's digital. I spent a lot of my time on the computer. So I created a reflections worksheet. And this reflection worksheet pairs very well with the ebook that I wrote, Increase Reaching Your Goals by 300%. And it's going to allow you to reflect on what are your habits that surround reaching your goals today. How can you use some of the concepts in the book to help you reach your goals a little faster? It helps you, of course, locate yourself where you are and help you acquire what's needed to move a little faster, to progress a little faster towards your dreams. So, how do you get in contact with me? I'm bold, and people seldom take me up on this. But if you're interested in that gift, all you have to do is just text me 310 488 7591 and just put in we could just put in goal book. Just put in goal book, and I will readily send all of that to you, the gifts to you. Maybe you prefer reaching me via email. That is fine also. You can contact me at Rosalind, ROSALIND, Henderson, HENDERSON1 at gmail.com, and simply put in the subject line something similar, ebook gift or ebook, and I will send you all of that information that I just talked about right now. Yes, I am bold, JJ. I'm giving out my number.
They couldn't see my face when you said that because I have it set to speaker mode for the recording, but you saw my face. I was like, what? She is much more bold than me. But you know what? You said it though, because a lot of times we have this value and people do not take action. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna give you my text because I know that, look, y'all, Rosalind didn't say this. I'm being the mean cop here. She's the good cop, I'm the bad cop. She didn't say this, but she knows that most of y'all, the reason you have not achieved your dreams yet is because you haven't been taking action. I want you to pull your phone out right now. Rosalind, give us your number one more time. We all gonna do this together. We're gonna deny your service almost by flooding you with text. What is your number?
I love it. I love it. 310
310
488
488
7591.
And what are we putting in here?
You
Goals
can
book.
put goal ebook.
Goal ebook. All right, y'all. Goal ebook. Now, look, if you don't do anything else in this next hour, you do this right now. Where'd the number go? Okay, I got it in here. It says goal ebook. I'm hitting send. I encourage you to do that. 3110 488 7591.
My phone is vibrating. Thank you, JJ.
All right. See, that's the thing. See, you think it's a small thing. You think it's a small thing. Oh, she just told us to send her a text. It's not just that you sent her a text, it's that you took action in the direction of your dreams. And now her phone is buzzing off the hook, y'all. So let's take action. Let's follow up on that goals book. Let's implement those strategies that Rosalind is teaching us and will teach us in the book. And let's build wealth together. All right, Rosalind, thank you so much on behalf of the audience and, of course, myself here at Building Wealth Together. I want to thank you for being on today. You have any last words as we say goodbye?
I'm stoked. I'm excited. I'm so happy that I've been able to talk with your audience about this, because these are the issues, the things that we're talking about. This is what moves you. This is what propels you forward. Taking care of some of these issues, which are foundational to building the 6-figure, 7-figure business, is the things that we talked about today. And thank you for giving me that platform, JJ. So appreciate it.
You're absolutely welcome, my sister. I appreciate what you're doing to help uplift our communities. And that's going to do us for this. That really did not come out right. That is going to be a wrap for this particular interview. But stay tuned here, Building Wealth Together. We have plenty more goodness to come as we round out day 2 and we head into day 3 on investing. I want to encourage you to make sure you get your VIP upgrade, because you are going to want to walk through these exercises and these thoughts that Rosalind shared with us today. And especially if you missed her number, you're going to want to go back and get it. But thank you to those of you who took action. I guarantee you have just moved the needle ahead in your life. That's gonna call it a wrap for today. Y'all take care and be blessed.